Praise be to Allah. We begin by thanking Allah for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If it wasn't for those two, I wouldn't have anything of substance to say. We welcome each and every one of you here live at Mosque Maryam, and also those watching via webcast throughout the planet Earth. Mosque Maryam, the national center of the Nation of Islam, is one of the most exquisite, relevant, and unique places and spiritual centers to be found anywhere on the planet Earth. This is that special place that is dedicated to the re-education and retraining of the black man and woman here in the wilderness of North America and of all our Aboriginal family across the globe. Notice we said that this is the place dedicated to re-education. You might say, why do I need to be re-educated? I got several degrees, and I'm very proud of all of them. But if you look at the society, look at the country, look at the condition of blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Asians, and even whites, it bears witness that this educational system has sent us and sentenced us to mental and spiritual death. The masses are steeped in ignorance, overwhelmed by poverty, crime, violence, injustice, famine, and spiritual wickedness and corruption in high places. Now, in addition to the need for re-education and retraining, we also need something else. The masses are in need all over the planet Earth of something called restoration. The Aboriginal people of the planet Earth have been devastated, destroyed, mentally and spiritually by wicked rulers with satanic minds, also by demonic European colonizers who wiped out their civilizations. But no one has been more destroyed, more decimated, more demolished, more annihilated as a people than the black man and woman here in the wilderness of North America. That black Holocaust, that horrific event that continues today, called the transatlantic slave trade, transformed the black man and woman from kings, queens, gods, into savage, subhuman, uncivilized caricatures of their original selves. We are in dire need of restoration. We have been transformed and transmogrified 180 degrees opposite our original selves. Now you might say, well, that's good, but what is restoration? To restore means to return something to a former, original, normal, or unimpaired condition. Restore also means to put something back into its former position and to rebuild. Well, our Hispanic family is in drastic need of restoration. Our Native brothers and sisters are in desperate need of restoration. And no one can deny or refute that the black man and woman in America and throughout the world is in critical and immediate need of restoration. Well, we don't need a lightweight restorer. We need the best restorer in the best restoration program. We need a supreme restorer in a supreme restoration program. The question is who and what will do the job. Maybe we should seek restoration from the educational system of our open enemies. There are over 132,853 K-12 public schools across America. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Not one of them has any curriculum or any program that can restore and redeem the human family. Well, maybe we should go to higher education. It's supposed to be on high. In the United States, there's about 5,300 colleges and universities with all their scholarly programs, with all their scholarly degrees. Not one of them has what it takes to do the job. Listen to what Minister Farrakhan said in one of his lectures entitled The True Meaning of Education. We are mistaken to follow the Western paradigm of education, science, and religion because it all has been poisoned by the wicked idea of white supremacy. This is a poison that is not good for white people, and it certainly is not good for us. The greatest, most effective, divinely appointed, divinely anointed restorer that has a proven track record of redeeming, restoring, and resurrecting the black man and woman and oppressed people all over the earth is none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And in today's time, his supreme student, masterful, exquisite helper, aider, and national representative, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the only body of knowledge and the only program that will restore a fallen humanity, a devastated and destroyed black nation, is the program and the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by Minister Farrakhan today. That teaching and that body of knowledge we are tremendously blessed every week to hear live here at Mosque Maryam by the many student ministers that mount the rostrum. Today, we will not disappoint you. We did not invite you here today to hear and listen to some mediocre lecturer. We did not ask you to come out to hear a commonplace or ordinary preacher, speaker, or minister. We have probed the ranks of the ministry team here at Mosque Maryam to select one of our top and premier players. We have a brother that's coming before you who is a brilliant educator, a game-changing principal, a widely sought-after speaker. He mesmerizes audiences in various cities with his fiery, in-your-face delivery of truth that causes the consciousness of the listener to be elevated into higher realms of understanding. This brother comes from our first-class, platinum-level cadre of elite student ministers. He's known, our brother's known for combining a unique style, a dynamic delivery, a thought-provoking subject, and a dash and cup of comedy. Our keynote speaker will capture your attention, stimulate your critical thinking, and ignite the spirit of God in every fiber of your being. He can be found representing and delivering the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his classrooms when he taught, in juvenile facilities, in high school auditoriums, on radio programs, and in various venues across this country. At this time, live from Mosque Maryam, we present to you a true brother, a devoted father and husband, a student minister not afraid to hit the streets and walk the block to help save our people. Can we receive to the microphone a powerful helper, dedicated disciple of Minister Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, student minister Abdul Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, we give him praise and thanks for coming in the person of Master Fard Muhammad and raising up in our midst the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and granting to us out of his grace the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. How you all feel this morning? All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, I want to start by saying that I'm a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I pray this morning that I'm able to share with you what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared with me and all of us that he got from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that transformed our lives for the better. So I would like to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for being my teacher. When I was a high school student, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came and spoke in the city of Atlanta. I was a senior in high school at the time. And, you know, how can I say this? At that time, my thought was to get it cracking with white folks. That's what I wanted to do. Some of y'all was like that too. Some of y'all was scared to be like that, right? So after reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, I wanted to join the Nation of Islam after reading autobiography. But after learning so much about our history, I had a chip on my shoulder like most young black people, right? And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came. Now, I was lying to people saying I was a Muslim because I read autobiography of Malcolm X. Just like some of y'all, right? Man, I'm a Muslim, right? So I was lying to people telling them I was a Muslim, right? And then, just so happened, senior year, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan comes to speak in Atlanta. And all my friends asked me, man, are you going? Well, I've been lying to y'all the whole time, right? So of course I gotta go, right? So I get my ticket and I go hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when I went to hear the minister, I had on this long Malcolm X t-shirt. It was down past my knees, right? And cause you know, Malcolm X, that was my man. And I had a brother airbrush on the t-shirt a star and crescent on the front, and then on the back of the t-shirt, he airbrushed F the Klan, right? Now, I grew up in Atlanta. Y'all might not understand that. So I go to hear the minister in April of 1990 at the Omni, and he did the lecture, Add It Up. Right, yeah, that's the lecture that okay, so all praise is due to Allah. So when he finished that lecture, and he talked about add it up, what America owes the black man, and if you add it up, you owe us the whole damn country. That was all I needed to hear. All praise is due to Allah. So now, I left the Omni, and I thought, in my mind, that as soon as I walked out, downtown Atlanta was gonna be burning. Cause that heat that man just dropped, ain't no way we not getting it cracking as soon as we leave up out of here. But when I got out there, people was getting in their cars going home. I was confused. I'm like, I came to get it cracking. Did y'all hear what this man just said? I got on the bus and went home. And later, and I'm not gonna give y'all the full story, but later, now I have to say this. So that night, the brother gave me a pledge card. I don't know who the brother is. And I filled the pledge card out and gave it to the brother. And I said, brother, are y'all gonna call me? And he said, brother, we gonna call you. And guess what? They never called, but I'm here, so all praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So I wanna thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for being my teacher and being my brother. I wanna thank Minister Ishmael Muhammad, the student minister here, the national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for giving me an opportunity to be with you all this morning here at Mosque Maryam. I want to thank all of the students in the ministry who came before you all this morning to help with the program. I would like to thank all of the sisters and brothers in the Nation of Islam, as well as my family. And I would like to give a special thanks to the mighty FOI, who have been going out in the streets of Chicago, fishing our brothers and sisters into the Nation of Islam. All praise is due to Allah. So that they can get a word from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality in America. So you know that you as black people have never had an opportunity in your 464 years in America. You never exercised true freedom, right? You never had an opportunity at having justice, right? And you never had in America equality. So since this man is the #1 preacher of freedom, justice, and equality, and those are the three things that you are searching for, you turn on the television. Every day, a new black person is murdered on television. And what's the cry? The cry is justice. Have you received justice? Did you receive justice from the day that you stepped foot off of the boat from the Middle Passage? From that day all the way to today, have you received justice? Has the white man always been the enemy of justice for the black man and woman? Was it true yesterday? And it's true today. You turn on the radio and black people call in and whine and complain about what? About them not receiving what? Justice. So the number one enemy of America is the man who is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality for the black man and woman. That man is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You as black, all praise is due to Allah. We as black people, we don't have freedom. And unfortunately, we don't want freedom. I know I do want freedom. No, you don't. Let me prove it. Freedom is the ability to act with responsibility. With freedom comes responsibility. That's not what we want. What we want is what the white man gave us. He gave us an illusion, something that looked like freedom, but it really was not freedom. What the white man gave us was license. License is the freedom to act without responsibility. No, Muhammad, no, yes. Let me give you an example. You see a fine woman, right? Or you see a fine man, right? And the night y'all meet, or a couple of days later, right? Y'all have sex, right? 2 or 3 or 4 times, maybe more, right? Next thing you know, you're pregnant. What does the man do? Okay, am I talking to black folks? He disappears, right? Because we want the freedom to have sex with whoever we want to have sex with, right? And if somebody tells you to be chaste, right? To hold yourself until you meet the person that you want to spend your life with. Man, you look at them like a ham and cheese sandwich, right? You look at, man, nigga, please. I ain't doing that, right? Because that's how you looking at me right now. So you want to engage in the act, but you don't want to fulfill the responsibility that comes with the act. So then you have children and you want the white man to take care of your children. Now, most of us, a lot of us, grew up in broken families, right? And most of us as young black men asked them about their father. Ask them. And they have so much resentment and hatred, right, towards their father because their father was not in their life, right? And then those same young black men walk down that same road that their father walked down. The same with young women. We condemn our parents for the condition of our birth, but then we end up doing the same thing. So as black people, do we want real freedom? Real freedom, you have to be responsible. You understand what I'm saying? It goes hand in hand. The reason that we don't want to separate from white folks is because we want them to take care of us. And we don't think that we have the ability to take care of ourselves in a land of our own. You understand? So you don't want to be free. We don't want to be free. We just want to have license. We want to be able to go to the club, smoke a pound of weed, right? That's why can't nobody wait until January 1st. Because the white man has legalized weed, didn't drop no charges, but legalized weed. Didn't make sure you can make billions of dollars. All the white folks gonna make the money, but weed will be legal, and you don't want freedom. You just want the license to be able to smoke weed, play video games, have sex, and go to sleep. And then when the Muslims come and tell you that it's a trick, you look at us like we crazy. Some of y'all got a blunt in the car right now. Like, man, as soon as Muhammad done, I'm slicing the swisher, rolling the blunt, and getting high, right? So now, but we cry for freedom. You understand? So, equality, we don't have that, right? You turn on the news, and they said by 2053, black wealth will be at 0. What are we talking about? You mean in 33 years from now, black wealth in America is going to be at 0? Then there was another article that came out that said, I wish the minister's picture was up here because I'm teaching on the teacher of freedom, justice, and equality. Another article came out and said that it would take 228 years for black people to catch up with white people financially. What are we talking about? That's not equality. So if we live in a system, right, that is based on denying black people freedom, justice, and equality, then the number one enemy of that system is the man that God raises to bring black people freedom, justice, and equality. Are y'all with me? All praise is due to Allah. That is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Can we go to that first slide with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and President Barack Obama? I know y'all seen this picture before, right? Okay, it's coming. Now, I want to just address real quick the elephant in the room. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, there it is, in 2005, took a picture with Barack Obama, right? And the brothers that were there, they held the picture because they knew if white folks saw Barack Obama, who was a senator at that time, right? Now I want you to keep in mind that the system that we live under is a system that does not want freedom, justice, and equality for the black man and woman. And that the man who is the preacher and teacher of freedom, justice, and equality is the number one enemy of a system like that. So now, if this man took a picture with anybody else, white folks wouldn't have lost their mind. Why? He could have took a picture with T.D. Jakes, right? He could have took a picture with Al Sharpton. He could have took a picture with Joel Osteen. Any preacher, any leader, if he would have took a picture, it wouldn't have been a problem. But he took a picture with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and white people went crazy. And they admitted that if this picture would have came out before the election, that Obama, there was no way he could have won. What does that tell you? I want you to think critically about a black man. If you take a picture with him, then you can't rise in the white man's world. Why? Because that black man is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality for the black man and woman. But now let's go to the next slide. All praise is due to Allah. Now, this man, Alan Dershowitz, I know you don't know who the hell he is, but he said that I wouldn't have campaigned for Obama if I knew about the Farrakhan photo. What? Who is this man that you can't take a picture with him? You can't be in the room with the man. They want to know, did you ever hear one of his lectures? I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, here's the problem. You could take a picture with a pedophile. You could take a picture with a man that is a pedophile and molests 13 and 14-year-old girls and invites grown men to his house and on his plane and on his island to have sex with 14-year-old girls. You can take a picture with him and there's no outcry from the white man about his white brother taking a picture and being the lawyer of and the friend of a serial pedophile. I wish somebody was listening. I'm trying to manifest to you the double standard that white folks have with one another. Are y'all listening? All praise is due to Allah. So now you can take a picture with Jeffrey Epstein. And all of these white folks, all of them, the high society white people, they all flew on his plane. Trump, Clinton, poor Prince Andrew, he can't even do an interview without being manifested as a child molester. Now, Alan Dershowitz, who had a problem with Obama taking a picture, was at Jeffrey Epstein, the serial pedophile, at his house, where they had 14-year-old girls giving grown men massages and having sex with them. And then Alan Dershowitz in an interview said, look, I got a massage, but I didn't take my underwear off. You can't even make this stuff up. So now, you mean to tell me there's no condemnation for him, but you want us to condemn a black man who took a picture with his brother? No, sir. So now, brothers and sisters, the reason I'm bringing this out is because everything that we have learned from white people, everything we have learned has been a lie. We getting ready for Christmas. Let me take that back. Some of you are getting ready for Christmas, right? We not getting ready for Christmas. All praise is due to Allah. Oh, Muhammad. Oh, Muhammad. What's wrong with Christmas? This ain't that lecture. This is not the lecture where we break all that all the way down. But you know Jesus wasn't born on no December 25th. You know that the Christmas holiday has nothing to do with Jesus. Oh, no, Muhammad, Jesus is the reason for the season. Okay, so then when you go to the mall, why is there no Jesus village at the mall? When you go to the mall, you don't go sit your children on Jesus' lap. You go sit your children on Santa's lap. So how are you telling me that Jesus is the reason for the season when it don't have nothing to do with Jesus? And if you took your child to the mall and it was a Jesus village and you said, baby, we're going to go sit on Jesus' lap, your child would look at you and be like, mama, what the hell wrong with you? I don't want to sit on no Jesus' lap. Where's Santa at? I want to sit on Santa's lap. Are y'all with me? Make me sick talking about sit on some Jesus' lap. Come to the mall to be with no Jesus? They lied to you about everything. They told you that they found us in the jungles of Africa and that we were uncivilized. That we were savages swinging from trees in Africa. They ain't even no jungles in Africa. How could you believe the white man's lies that you came from the jungles of Africa and there's no jungles in Africa? The jungles are in South America. The majority of Africa is savanna or grassland. But you believe the lies of the white man. That's why you call each other African booty scratchers. They want you to think that the Egyptians were white people. They built the pyramids. And because we were never critical thinkers, it took 50 years to build a pyramid. You mean to tell, and Egypt is in Africa, right? One of the hottest continents, right on the equator. You mean to tell me that them white folks was in the sun for 50 years and nobody died from skin cancer? They can't even go out in Chicago without putting on sunscreen, right? They get cancer in Chicago, but they wasn't getting cancer in Egypt from building the pyramids. Then you walk inside the pyramids and all the paintings are still there. How much knowledge did those people have to make some paint to last 5,000 years? But the paint lasted 5,000 years. You walk in the pyramid and it's black people on the wall. And then the white people will tell you, nah, them ain't black people. They just ran out of white paint, and then you accept that. Man, get out of here. They told you that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Come on, man. 50 million people are already here, and you discovered America. Now, if I discover $20 in your pocket, you're not rolling with that, right? It'll be a fight in the mosque, right? So everything that we taught or have been taught by white people has been a lie. They told you that Mary was a virgin, right? No, Muhammad, no, Muhammad. She was a virgin. Right, she was, up until the point where she got pregnant. Once she got pregnant, guess what? She was no longer a virgin. Ain't no sense in arguing about it. Because a woman cannot get pregnant without a man. I know, because I've been dealing with black folks a long time. You say God can do anything, right? He can do anything within the laws that he set up. Do you think some sperm came down from space and got Mary pregnant? Exactly. If you see sperm anywhere, right? You're not touching it. Get on the bus and see some on the seat. You getting off the bus, right? I'm gonna wait for the next bus. Okay, this is why I can't be at Mosque, Maryam. Mary was a virgin. She was a righteous woman. And she fell in love with Joseph, who was the father of Jesus. That's not hard to believe. The Bible tells you, when you read the Bible in the book of Matthew, it gives you the lineage of Jesus through Joseph. Are y'all with me? The Bible says that he was the seed of David according to the flesh. Joseph was the one that was related to David. And he was declared the Son of God according to the Spirit of holiness. But we didn't read that. We go by the Bible, right? We see it on the shelf and we go straight by it. But we don't go in the Bible to see what does the Bible say. So Mary was a virgin until she got pregnant. They lied to you about Easter. Come on, Muhammad, you just told us they lied to us about Christmas, which they did. Not Easter too, of course. Why does the date change every year? Every year the date of Easter changes, you never thought twice about it, right? But we know that Biggie was killed on March 9th, right? And every March 9th, what do? We turn up the music, right? And blast it down Lakeshore Drive in honor of who? In honor of Biggie. We know Tupac was killed on September 13th. The date don't change every year. We know that Malcolm X was assassinated on February 21st. The date doesn't change. So why would the date for Jesus change every year? Come on. And I'm going to use the same example I just used. When you go to the mall on Easter, right? You got your little canary shirt on. You got the little flower, right? You got your pink suit, right? And you go to the mall. Who you taking the picture with? You taking the picture with Jesus? Or you taking the picture with the Easter bunny, right? When y'all do the Easter egg hunt, you looking for eggs, right? And rabbits don't lay chicken eggs. What are we talking about? But you mad at me because I'm exposing the lies that the white man taught you. All praise is due to Allah. They lied to us and said that there was 3 gods in one. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. No, Muhammad, that's what I grew up learning. Exactly. We grew up learning lies from white folks. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said you can't make 3 into 1 unless you make the 1 1/3. How could God be all powerful and then be a third? How could he be all knowing and a third? You read the Bible, Jesus is not under any illusion. He says that his Father sent him. The one who sends you is always greater than the one that got sent. Let me prove it to you. When you was growing up, right? You was playing Xbox and your mama called you, boy, come in here. I need you to go to the store, get a carton of milk and a pack of cigarettes. And you better have my change when you come back. What? And what did you do? You went to the store. You got the milk, right? They don't let you buy cigarettes no more. But when I grew up, you could buy cigarettes. You could be 10, right? And get a pack of Newports. So now, the one that sends you is always greater than the one that got sent. Now imagine you was in the house playing PlayStation, right? Smoking a Black and Mild. And you said, Mama, come in here and go get me a bag of chips, some hot flamings, and a juice box. And you better have my change when you come back. Most of y'all scared to even think like that, right? So if Jesus is telling you that God sent him, and we know that the sender is always greater than the one that got sent, then we know that God can't be a third of the power. He's all of the power. Do you understand what I'm saying? All praise is due to Allah. So now, we're talking about the godfather of blackness, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's more than just the godfather of blackness, though. Are y'all with me? The way the white man rules you is through the lies that he taught us. He put the lie in the mouth of our foreparents because he knew we would trust them. Then when they told us the lie, we would believe it because we're thinking it's coming from a reliable source, but it's really coming from the white man. Are y'all with me? Okay. Don't get too mad. Let me ask y'all a question. No liar wants to be exposed. Jeffrey Epstein was a serial pedophile and a liar. And when he was caught the first time, Alan Dershowitz came and was his lawyer and got him this deal where he didn't even have to go to jail. He could just spend the night in jail. Think about it. Man, if you stole a Twinkie from 7-Eleven, the white man is not going to let you get a deal like that. No, you got to go to jail. This man didn't have to go to jail. He just had to spend the night in jail. Do y'all understand? I don't think y'all understand. So, but the thing that happened is when the truth was exposed, then he could no longer hide. Are y'all understanding? I'm just using him as an example because anytime a liar is exposed with truth, the liar can no longer hide. Are y'all following me? We know Trump is a liar. Now, I know y'all like, man, I want you to talk hard about Trump. I'm not going to, because unfortunately, Trump is what black folks need. It's sad, all praise is due to Allah. It's sad, but it's true. Because we've had the greatest leaders of any people in the history of this country. And we're still in the same condition because knowledge alone is not going to be enough for black people to stand up and take our rightful place as the leaders of the world. God came and raised up the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to give us the knowledge to make us not just the leaders of our community, not just the leaders in Chicago, not just the leaders in America, but the leaders in the world, and I'm going to prove it. Let's keep it moving. Can we put up the slide with the two pictures? It's so much to cover. No, not those two pictures. We done with Jeffrey Epstein and Alan Dershowitz, who didn't take his underwear off. Can we put up the picture of the Harlem, Godfather of Harlem, and the Godfather, there it is. So now there's a television show called The Godfather of Harlem, which is about the life of a gangster in New York by the name of Bumpy Johnson, right? I don't know if you all have seen it. But in the television show, they have not just a scene, but there's a character that represents Malcolm X, right? There's a character that represents the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, of course, Bumpy Johnson. And whenever white people put us, when I say us, I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. Whenever they put us on television, whenever they put us in movies, right? Whenever they put us in magazines and newspapers, there's always a motive behind what they do. Now, I just told you, and you agree, that we have not been able to exercise freedom, justice, and equality since we've been here. And we're living under a system that denies us freedom, justice, and equality. And the number one threat to a system like that would be a man that teaches freedom, justice, and equality. Y'all with me? So now the question you have to ask is, what kind of attack would the enemy put up on the teacher of freedom, justice, and equality? Are y'all with me? I just want you to think about it because we're going to talk about it. So now, this show has in it a character, of course, Forrest Whitaker plays Bumpy Johnson. You have in that a brother who plays Malcolm X, a brother who attempts to play the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was a feeble attempt, but he tried. Now, but the thing I want to bring out is this. If we can go to the next slide. The writers of the show, these are the writers. Yeah, not black folks, right? So what you all have to understand is that there's always a hidden hand behind whatever we get as black people. And if it's dealing with the Nation of Islam, then there's absolutely a hidden hand. Are y'all following me? So what you have to realize is that when you're watching the show, which is complete fiction, okay? Historically inaccurate, right? It's entertaining, right? But it's historically inaccurate. The words that you hear coming out of the mouth of the characters are not their words. They're the words of the writers, right? Are y'all with me? Okay. So now, Paul Eckstein and Chris Brancato, these are the writers of the show. But now we know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in his work among us, has had for the last 40 years a controversy, right, with the Jewish community. And they've done everything within their power. Now, they are the most powerful subset of white people in America. That's just a fact. They've done everything within their power to destroy the reputation and the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They've been unsuccessful. So they use Hollywood as one of their devices to destroy the character of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now let me read this quote from Joel Stein. Listen to what he had to say. He said, I have never been so upset by a poll my whole life. Only 22% of Americans now believe the movie and television industries are pretty much run by Jews, down from nearly 50% in 1964. The Anti-Defamation League, which released the poll results last month, sees these numbers as a victory against stereotyping. Actually, it just shows how dumb America has gotten. Jews totally run Hollywood. Now, if I said it, I would be an anti-Semite, but I didn't say it though. Joel Stein said it, who's Jewish, and I guess he can't be an anti-Semite. But the bottom line is this, brothers and sisters, truth is truth, right? So now, let's go to the next slide. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the godfather of blackness. Now, I know you saying, man, I've been going to school all of my life, and I ain't never learned nothing about no Elijah Muhammad. Every year for Black History Month, they never told me about no Elijah Muhammad. But now you want to tell me that he the godfather of blackness? Man, what are you talking about? There's a reason. I just want you to think. There's a reason why you never learn about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad during Black History Month. You learn about the same people every year. You learn about Rosa Parks, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, right? And all you learn is a slogan. Rosa Parks sat on the back of the bus. Harriet Tubman freed the slaves. Malcolm X fought back. Martin Luther King had a dream. That's it. If I asked you, take out a sheet of paper and write down everything you know about Black history. Once we got past them 4 lines, guess what? We'd be like, man, what? Hey, Joe, you got something? So now, a godfather is a person who is regarded as the originator or principal shaper of a movement, school of thought, art form, industry, or the like. Y'all got that? That's what a godfather is. So now let me read to you this quote from this book called An Original Man, The Life and Times of Elijah Muhammad. Tell me when y'all are ready. Okay, that's not everybody. Tell me when y'all are ready. Okay, that's a little bit better. So now, can we put that on the... Thank you. Listen to what the author says. No other historical personality has had the kind of prolonged impact on black consciousness that he has had, and no recent group in the African American community has promoted, largely by example, economic self-help, cultural regeneration or redefinition, and the moral living more vigorously than the Nation of Islam. The author goes on to say, the Muslims were black long before it became fashionable to be labeled as such. I don't think y'all listening. And the Black Power movement and all subsequent African American protest styles, from the rhymes of the nationalistic rap group Public Enemy to the raison d'etre of the Million Man March, are undeniably offshoots of the legacy of Elijah Muhammad. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So now, brothers and sisters, the author is just telling you that everything in blackness that we have benefited from, the root of it is what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. So now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is not just the godfather of blackness. He is that, and we're going to prove it, right? With actual facts. But he's not just a black leader. I don't want y'all to think he's just a black leader. He's so much more than a black leader. Let me read to you this verse from the Bible. Listen to what the Bible says. Muhammad, I thought that Elijah Muhammad told y'all that the Bible was a poison book. So why you gonna quote the Bible? Wait a minute, he did say that. He did say that the Bible was a poison book. But does that mean we shouldn't use it? Just because it's a poison book? We use poison all the time. Did you brush your teeth this morning? Hopefully you did, right? If you didn't, don't say nothing, because we don't want to know. But if you brushed your teeth, guess what? The toothpaste that you use to clean your teeth is poison. You flip it over on the back and it says if you swallow it, call poison control, right? Did you use mouthwash? The mouthwash that you gargle in your mouth, guess what? That's poisonous, right? But you use it to keep your breath fresh, right? Do you use soap when you take a shower? Or do you do like the white people do and just get in and let the water hit your legs? I'm not making this up. I saw it on Twitter. Let the water hit your legs and get out, right? Or do you use soap? You don't eat the soap, do you? Because the soap is what? The soap is poisonous, but you use it because it's beneficial. How did y'all get to the mosque today? Did you drive? Did you put gas in your car? Is gas poisonous? But you used it, didn't you? When you are writing and you make a mistake, you grab some whiteout. Is the whiteout poison? But you use the whiteout to cover the mistake. Are y'all following what I'm saying? So we use poison all the time. You wash your dishes. What do you use? You use poison. You wash your clothes. What do you use? Okay, y'all can say it. You use poison, right? We always use poison. Now, if you were bitten by a snake, right? And we were bitten by a snake, a poisonous snake, right? In order to get the antidote for that poison, you have to go and find the same kind of snake that bit you, so that the doctor can create an antidote, not from a different snake, but from the same snake. You understand what I'm saying? Well, if we were bitten by the white man who has been a snake and used the Bible and made it a poison book, then the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, if he's from God and wants to heal the condition, then he got to use the venom to make the antidote. I wish y'all was listening. So now listen to what the Bible says. It says, God said to Abram, know for certainty that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, where they will be enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. But I will also judge that nation whom they will serve, and afterward they will come out with many possessions. So now there's only one group of people in the history of the world that have been in bondage for 400 years. And that's the black man and woman in America. So when God gets ready to free us, He has to send a messenger, right? If God is going to judge America or the nation where we were slaves, he got to send a messenger. Because God never judges without first doing what? Sending a messenger. Let's go to the Holy Quran. Listen to what the Holy Quran says in chapter 28, verse 59. And thy Lord never destroyed the towns until he had raised in their metropolis a messenger, reciting to them our messages, and we never destroyed the towns except when the people were iniquitous. So if the Bible is telling you that God is going to judge the nation that enslaved us, and you can't have a judgment without a messenger, right? Then we should be looking for what? The messenger to proclaim the judgment. Now, we're different as black people in America. We're different than any other people who received a messenger. Are y'all with me? We're different because we just were not separated from God, right? God sends messengers when the people become separated from him to bring them back in harmony with his will. So we were not just separate from God, but because we experienced 400 years of slavery, we were separate from ourselves. So the messenger in the end of the world can't just bring you to God, right? He has to give you the thorough knowledge of self. But guess what? They're one and the same. So now let's prove it. Wait a minute. Let's go to the next slide. In Esquire magazine in 1964, listen to what most of us weren't even born in 1964, right? In 1964, they had a cartoon in Esquire magazine that's Charles de Gaulle, who was the president of France. And if you see the little man right here, y'all see that? With the fez, right? That's the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Charles de Gaulle is saying, y'all got the cordless mic? Charles de Gaulle is saying, my countrymen and fellow crooks, this fellow N meaning the N-word, is giving us a bad name. We must liquidate him so that we can devote our time towards a development of a glorious future, mainly me. So now this is 1964, and in Esquire magazine, just so happened in that same year, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad met with all of his laborers in Chicago. And this is what he had to say. They had multiple copies of the magazine there. This is what he had to say. He was so bold to put this in his magazine, saying that if they could liquidate or kill me, they would have a future, a glorious future. Think over that. They were bold enough to put it. They had my picture there and pointing directly at me. It is not so hard to distinguish me there because he had my fez on me. That was in 1964. The question is, why would this man, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, a man who you never learned about in Black History Month, right? Why would he be the one that would rob white people of a glorious future? Can we go to the next slide? We're going to break it all the way down. So now listen to what is in this book, The American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. He says, the Nation of Islam's leader throughout most of the 20th century was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Along with his ideological children, has wreaked more havoc on the machinery of white supremacy than any other identifiable source. Now, you and I, right now, all praise is due to Allah, we are the victims of white supremacy. When Laquan McDonald was shot down in Chicago and they covered it up, that's white supremacy. When they murdered Sandra Bland and they covered it up, guess what that is? That's white supremacy. When they killed Tamir Rice as a 12-year-old boy and the cops got off, what's that? That's white supremacy. When they redlined you so you can't move into white neighborhoods, what's that? That's white supremacy. When you go get a car loan and they give you triple the interest rate of the white folks, what's that? That's white supremacy. When the brother's on the train and he gets arrested for eating a sandwich, what's that? When a sister is in her house and the police come to the house unannounced and she's in the house and they shoot her through the window, what's that? When Philando Castile is in the car with his daughter and his girlfriend and the officer stops the car and asks him, do you have a weapon? And he says yes. And he's carrying his weapon legally with the FOID card. And the officer shoot him and kill him in front of his girlfriend and his daughter. What's that? That's white supremacy. You've been a victim of white supremacy your whole life. When they built the projects in Chicago, because they didn't want black people moving into white neighborhoods, so they said, we'll stack them on top of each other, and they built Robert Taylor from 35th to 55th. And they tricked you to get in there. They gave you a free stove and a free refrigerator and a free first month rent. And the black people filled up the projects. Then they brought heroin in, and we started murdering each other, right? The Henry Horner, right? Robert Taylor, Rockwell, all of them. All of that was white supremacy. Cabrini Green, right? Now you go where Cabrini Green used to be. It's called River North. And if you black, they looking at you funny. So all the projects are now gone, and they replaced them with $100,000 condominiums for white folks to live in. What is that? That's white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? When you wake up in the morning, you got 20 tickets on your car. Guess what that is? Right, you know what I'm talking about, right? I got pulled over by the police. I'm the principal of the school. I drive around the school every day just to make sure everything is good before I leave. I'm driving around the school. I make a turn, and this is in Austin on the west side, and the police pull me over. And the white officer gets out of the car, and he said, yeah, I pulled you over because you didn't use a blinker. I could have said a whole bunch of things, right? But I didn't. So when white police do that, what they expect is you don't have insurance, right? You riding dirty. So the blinker is the pretext so that when they pull you over and you don't have insurance, your license plate is not registered, they give you 15 tickets. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't get no tickets, but that did happen. So now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the author is saying, has wreaked more havoc on the machinery of white supremacy than anybody else. Why didn't you learn about him during Black History Month? Let's keep it moving. Then he goes on to say, it was the Nation of Islam that engineered the stunning reversal of the black man's self-perception and his perception of his white tormentors. It alone has become the most strident and formidable challenger to the philosophical dominance of white supremacy. All praise is due to Allah. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings change the way that you think about yourself, which is the greatest change. All praise is due to Allah. I'm going to prove it to you from the Bible. I know you're waiting for white Jesus to come back. He's not coming back. The Jesus that you're looking for as a black man and woman is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I know you're not ready to hear that, but I'm going to prove it with the Bible. All praise is due to Allah. In the Bible, there's a verse that says, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. That's in the Bible. You was in church on Easter hearing that verse. And you was with the white Jesus and none of your sins was taken away. You left the church and got in a dice game, lost your money and shot your brother, and then you had the Jesus say, Jesus help me murk that nigga, right? Right or wrong? We in church, and every imaginable sin, right? Everyone, we engaged in them all. We drunk, right? We high, right? We fornicators, right? We adulterers, right? Murderers, pimps, everything. We everything in the church except a Christian. It's just a fact. I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings. So you being with white Jesus didn't take away the sins of the world. But now if you look at Malcolm X, who heard the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now let me say this, we're not judging nobody who lives in the white man's world. Because the white man's world, the Bible says that we were born in sin. You was born in a world that was already doing evil. You understand? We're not responsible for the evil of the world. We're the victims of the evil of the world. So the Bible says we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. What do you mean? Shaped in iniquity. Meaning you went to public school and the white supremacy of the public school system shaped your mind. Your mama sat you down in front of television and the white supremacy of the stupidity on television shaped your mind. You turned on the radio and the stupidity on the radio shaped your mind, shaped your self-perception. You went to college and got 20 degrees and broke as hell, right? But the college education, or what you thought was education, misshaped your mind. You understand? So you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And the white Jesus can't take the sin away. I know you heard Kanye's album. That didn't take the sin away. But Malcolm X was a drug dealer. He was a pimp. He was a robber, broke in people's houses, right? He was a criminal. He was not beneficial to himself or his people. He was a parasite in the black community. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Like most of us. Then he went to prison. And when he went to prison, the prisoners gave him the nickname of Satan. Wait, on the street, you mean on the street he was just dirty red? He was just red, right? But then, like some of us, when we go to prison, we become worse. Prison can make you worse, it can make you better, right? In the case of Malcolm, it made him worse. So the people that were in prison, the rapists, the murderers, the pimps, the pedophiles, the serial killers, the bank robbers, the gangsters, right? They looked at Malcolm, and he became so bad in prison that they called him Satan. I don't think y'all understand. And Malcolm's life was saved by the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He completely transformed his life. Why? Because the Lamb of God takes away the sins of the world. All of us were sinners and did all kind of evil before we came here. Every last one of us. Did you, Muhammad? Absolutely. Every time I went to the store, not sometimes, not half the time, not 99% of the time, every time I'm getting something on a 5-finger discount. Every time. You understand? I worked at fast food. I worked in the drive-thru. And when customers were disrespectful, I can't even tell you what I did. That's just, yeah. That's why I never go to the drive-thru till today, because karma is something else, right? I'm going in, I got to see what you're doing. Not going to the drive-thru, because I know what I did. I know when I worked on the register, right? I'm just talking about me, right? Oh, I know when I worked on the register. The register was not going to come up short. Not the register. But my pockets wasn't going to come up short either. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to say this. This is not exaggeration. This is 100% actual facts. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at all the fast food. When McDonald's has the Monopoly game, y'all familiar with that, right? You're going to think I'm exaggerating, but it's the truth. The reason that they put the Monopoly pieces on the side of the cup it's because of me. I know you're saying, Muhammad, you lying. Hold on, stop. When I was in high school, I worked at McDonald's. And back then, they just gave you a little Monopoly piece, if you remember right, and you open it, you got free fries or whatever. So me, everything's on a 5-finger discount. So I go in the walk-in freezer with a black trash bag, because if you get Monopoly, you get $1 million. I go in the walk-in freezer with a black trash bag and dump all of the Monopoly pieces in the trash bag. I'm not making this up. I take them home, right, because me and my brother, we trying to hit Monopoly. You understand what I'm saying? So I take the Monopoly pieces home, and we open all of them. And if I had hit Monopoly, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Because ain't nobody hitting Monopoly. You understand what I'm saying? So what McDonald's did to prevent those types of things from happening, they put the Monopoly piece on the side of the cup. They probably got a picture of me somewhere, like this the Negro who did it right here. Okay, let's keep it moving. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Jesus that the Bible is talking about. I know that's hard for you to believe. Hold on. Let me give to you a couple of more verses. Listen to the Bible. The Bible says in Matthew 16:28, right? Truly I say unto you, there are some of those who are standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now that can't be Jesus of 2,000 years ago. I just want you to think, if Jesus is giving a speech 2,000 years ago, and he says, look, y'all that's listening, y'all not gonna taste death until you see the kingdom. Everybody that was listening to that speech is dead. So it can't be the man from 2,000 years ago. I just want you to think. That's all I want you to do. Okay, wait a minute. We got a few more verses. Listen to this. Hold on. This one's not on the screen. Listen to what Matthew says. Blessed are you when men shall revile you, persecute you, and speak all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Man, if I say that I'm with Jesus, I'm not getting persecuted. I'm not getting reviled, right? I'm not getting all manner of evil spoken against me, right? But when Obama took the picture with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, was he reviled? Absolutely. Was he persecuted? Absolutely. Did they speak all manner of evil against him? Absolutely. When our sister Tamika Mallory, the powerful black sister that was unafraid to stand with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who's been standing for black people for 64 years, when she was just at Savior's Day, was she reviled? Was she persecuted? Was all manner of evil spoken against her? Okay, Keith Ellison, who's scared to say that he was in the nation, right? Because he wants favor from white people. Was he reviled? Was he persecuted? Did they speak all manner of evil against him? So who's the real Jesus? Not the white man. All praise is due to all I want you to do is think. Listen to this. In the book of John, he came into his own, and his own received him not. Right? The light shined in the darkness, and the darkness understood it not. We've been teaching black people how long? 80 years, right? I had a few more Bible verses. Hold on. I'm just trying to, listen to this in John 7:15. Tell me when y'all ready. The Jews asked when Jesus started teaching, how has this man become learned having never been educated? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad went to the 4th grade and taught the masses, right? You can't see him because you blinded by all of his students, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. The Jesus of 2,000 years ago was not uneducated. He was well educated. You understand? He was educated in Egypt. Man, it's that time already. Okay, let's just wrap it up. We got to move on. So now, listen to this. Can we go to that next slide? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is hated, as is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because they represent the end of the white man's world. Because the white man's world is rooted in white supremacy. You can't go and get a gun and defeat white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? When I was in high school, that's what I thought, that we could get it cracking, right? And just by getting it cracking, we was going to win and defeat white people. I'm sorry. As long as the white man's thinking is in your mind, then you will never defeat the white man. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not about getting a gun and fighting white people, beating up white people, protesting on the street. That's not what it's about. Because if you don't change the mind of black people, then you'll never defeat white supremacy. Because white supremacy is at the root of the white man's world. It's the root of his thinking. And unfortunately, guess what? It's the root of ours as well. You understand? So now, can we go to that next slide? Some of y'all mad because I said that his teachings represents the end of the white man's world. Do y'all know what that is? All the young people like, man, what the hell is that, Muhammad? Right. That's a payphone. There was a time when you had to go to these to make a phone call, right? Your mama drop you off somewhere, she might give you 50 cents, right? And she said, baby, call me. I just need to make sure you're safe. Y'all wouldn't even know how to use that, the young people, right? Now, is anybody mad that we not using payphones no more? No, we not mad because payphones no longer exist. Because what replaced the payphone was better. You understand what I'm saying? When an old idea is replaced by a new idea, right? Nobody cares because the new idea is better. Y'all follow me? There was a time when cars didn't have seat belts. And then people would stop and go through the windshield. And the windshield at that time didn't have that layer of plastic on it to prevent you from going through the windshield. So your body just would be hanging in the windshield, right? And the windows on the side of the cars were made out of plate glass. Now you break the window, right, as some of us have done, right? And what happens? It just crumbles, right? Why? Because so many people died from the plate glass that they replaced it with a better idea. Now, is anybody mad? No, I want to go back and have a car with no seat belts. There was a time when cars didn't even have windshields and bugs just got in your teeth. You want to go back to that? No, we don't care as long as the new idea is what? It's better than the old. Let's go to the next slide. So now, can you put it up click it a few more times? One more. Now, y'all remember those big bubble gut TVs, right? Some of y'all still got one. Man, come on, man. Throw it away. Like when you get ready to move, who's carrying that? Who's carrying that when you get ready to move? Throw it away. I know it's, no, Muhammad, no, I had it since. There was a time where there was only 3 channels on television, right? 3 channels. Some of y'all cussing right now. And at 11 o'clock, TV went off. And they put the American flag on the screen, and they played the Star Spangled Banner until 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning when the news came on. So now, are we going back to a time where there was no remote control? Right, you don't even remember those times. The children were the remote control. If you had brothers and sisters, y'all had to take turns standing next to the TV. And you had to change the channel until your parents found something that they wanted to watch. And if the TV was a little staticky, you would get the antenna, right? You put the fork in it or wrap it with aluminum foil, right? So now, who wants to go back to a time like that? Right, nobody. I know you don't want to go back to a time where there was no remote control. I know no black person is trying to do that, right? Because if you can't find a remote, you're trying to fight somebody, right? You got 50 remotes and can't find none of them. So now let's move on. So all I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is this, that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teachings are the end of white supremacy. His teachings destroy the old idea of white supremacy. So we don't have a problem if that idea is played out, right? All we want is what the new idea is. And what is the new idea? A world based on freedom, justice, and equality. All praise is due to Allah. So now, all praise is due to Allah. This man is the godfather of blackness. I'm not going to be able to finish everything. We only got 30 minutes, so we're going to have to do lightning round. So now, tell me when y'all ready. So much to cover. I like that. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, not only did he give us the knowledge of self, right, which we're going to talk about, he wrote this book called Message to the Black Man, right? And all praise is due to Allah. He wrote many books. That was the first one. And it's a book that you need to read. I'm going to quote it in a second. But what I want to do first is I want to show a video of a brother who received this book from Nipsey Hussle real quick. So can y'all check this video out? And then I'm going to come back with the quote from Message to the Black Man.
Nothing, so that's a terrible loss. But as they've always said, every loss is a lesson. What book did Nipsey give me to read? Message to the Black Man, by Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, it was Message to the Black Man. But you know, like just like I value Killer Mike.
All praise is due to Allah. Now, that was T.I. telling the world that Nipsey Hussle had given him a book. And then one of the people on the live asked him, well, what book did he give you? And he said that he gave him this book, Message to the Black Man. So now if you listen to T.I. now, T.I.'s like a lot more revolutionary than it used to be, right? I wonder why. Because the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the light that produces the revolution. There is no revolution without light. All praise is due to Allah. The revolution is not with the gun. That's not the real revolution. The thing that causes all of the planets, all 9 planets rotate on their axis at 1,037 and 1/3 mile per hour. But the thing that causes them to rotate is the light from the sun. When the light hits the earth, it causes it to rotate at 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour. And when that rotation in 24 hours makes it a day, right? But then when it makes a complete circuit or revolution around the sun, you call that a revolution, right? The complete circle around the sun. Are y'all following me? But what is the root cause of the revolution around the sun? It's the light from the sun. So it's light that produces the change. And that light comes from the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let's keep it moving. Listen to this. Listen to what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said. Anyone who does not have the knowledge of self, that's black folks, is considered a victim of either amnesia or unconsciousness and is not very competent. The lack of the knowledge of self is a prevailing condition among my people in America. Gaining the knowledge of self makes us unite into a great unity. Knowledge of self makes you take on the great virtue of learning. That's page 39 in Message to the Black Man. As black people, we've never been given the knowledge of who we are. This is why every generation, we call ourselves something different than the previous generation. Are y'all with me? So there was a time we called ourselves colored, right? And you know, because the NAACP is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. You've seen the pictures of the white water fountain, right? And the colored water fountain. But the word colored is not a word that describes black people. Because black is the essence of all color, right? When you put all the colors together, you have black, right? And when you remove all the colors, then you have nothing, right? You have blank, right? Which we call white. Are y'all with me? So colored is not us, but colored is what happened to us. When somebody tells you a lie, right? What are they doing? They're coloring the truth. Are y'all with me? Okay. They called us Negroes, right? Negro is a word that means something that is dead or mentally dead. Are y'all with me? This is not a word to describe black people. Such is not our nature, I would say. But when the white man brought us over here, the first slave trader, his name was John Hawkins, first English slave trader. He brought us here in 1555. The word Negro came into existence in 1555. So the question you should be asking is, if the word Negro or nigger can only be traced back to 1555 when they brought us in slavery, what were we before 1555? What were we called then? What did white people call us before 1555? That's a good question. We're going to answer it in just a second. So we're not colored, right? We're not Negroes, right? We're not niggers. I know what you're saying. Yes, Muhammad, we are. Because Tupac said, it means never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. Okay, well, you're not that then. Never ignorant? We talking about, who we talking about? Exactly, right? Getting goals accomplished? We not that. Tupac was trying to flip it and make it mean something good, but we not that. We're going to try to be that, but we not that. Let's keep it moving. I thought that we was African Americans. How could we be? When the entire planet Earth, when white people started to explore the world, everywhere they went, there was black people there already. Everywhere they traveled, there was already black people standing there looking at them. You understand what I'm saying? So why would you limit yourself to just Africa? I'm an African. You mean you only in Africa? No, we everywhere. You go to Australia, it's black people in Australia. You go to China, the original Chinese are black people. You go to what they call the Middle East, the original Arab, right? That's what we call them. The original Arab is a black man. You go to Central and South America. The original people of Central and South America are black. The original people of North America are black. The original Hawaiian is black. The original man in the Philippines is black. Everywhere the white man went, black people were already there. Why would you limit yourself to Africa? All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, a European explorer. Africa was named after Scipio Africanus, a Roman conqueror. Why would you call yourself after two white men? Let's keep it moving. So now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said we're none of those. He said that we're black. Before slavery, white people referred to black people as Moors, and Moors is the Portuguese word for black. Because why? Why did the most honorable Elijah Muhammad say that we were black? It is because black is universal. Are y'all with me? Everything in the universe comes out of darkness into light. Let me prove it. Where did the universe itself come from? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the universe, and the Holy Quran bears him witness, was created from triple darkness. The white man says that the universe came from dark matter. So what is he saying? The same thing that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said 60 years ago. Are y'all following me? Now, the color black represents, oh, it's up there, not as we've been told, something that's dirty, something that's sinister, something that's evil, something that's filthy, right? That's the lie that we've been told. But the truth is that the color black represents power. It represents authority. Are y'all with me? Let's see if we can prove it. Can we put up that next slide? We got to go fast. One more. Now, when you go to church, right, you get high up in the church, you become a priest, right? Then they give you a black robe to put on, right? Because the black robe represents your authority in the church. Are y'all following me? Your power in the church, right? Let's go to the next slide real quick. When you graduate from college, they give you a black robe, right? They give you a square hat for your circle head, right? So now the black robe is supposed to represent the power of the knowledge that you attained while you were in college. Are you with me? The square hat on your round head represents 360 degrees of knowledge, because a square is 360 degrees, just like your head is 360 degrees. But you didn't get 360 degrees of knowledge in college, right? You got a bogus degree and couldn't get a job. Let's keep it moving. The highest ranking member of the KKK is the Grand Wizard. And the Grand Wizard wears a black robe. The low-level KKK people wear white. The Grand Wizard wears black because the black represents his power over everybody else. Are y'all following me? You go to court. I've been, I'm sure you've been as well, right? And what does the judge wear? He wears a black robe. And when he walks in, everybody got to stand up, right? And they say, the Honorable Judge so-and-so, and you never have a problem with calling that white man honorable, right? You never have a problem with standing up for him, right? No problem. But if we call the most honorable Elijah Muhammad or the minister honorable, it's Negroes that have a problem with that. I don't understand. But I do understand because we victims of white supremacy. Let's keep it moving. The highest belt in martial arts, right? You come in as a white belt. I mean, you have no skills, no knowledge, right? Nothing, right? You go up in rank, and then you get to the black belt. Once you get to the black belt, there is no other level past that. You just get another degree of blackness. Are you following what I'm saying? Because it represents the power that you have in the martial arts. When you have money, right? The reason that the Friday after Thanksgiving is called Black Friday, not because black people are going to be shopping, because I've seen a lot of videos with white people fighting each other for TVs. It's called Black Friday because the merchants are going to make so much money off of our ignorance. When you make money, you're in the black, right? When you lose money, you're in the red. Y'all understand? When you want to absorb the energy from the sun, you get solar panels, right? And the solar panel is black because we know that dark colors absorb sunlight. Are y'all following me? So black doesn't represent filth, evil, sinister, dirty. It represents power and authority. But we've been hoodwinked, as Malcolm said. We've been bamboozled. Let's keep it moving. So now, brothers and sisters, I have to skip over some things for the sake of time. And so what I would like to do is just read a few more quotes, and then we're going to close it out. Can we do that? All praise is due to Allah. So now, brothers and sisters, listen to what James Baldwin said. We're talking about the godfather of blackness. Now, I need y'all to understand that everything that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did or attempted to do, the United States government worked against him every day that he was working among black people in America. Are y'all listening? Every day that he was working among black people in America, the United States government worked against him, and they have unlimited resources. Are y'all following me? Now, if you are planning something, I'm talking about we black folks, right? If we plan something, and the mailman is walking down the street, and the mailman says, man, that ain't gonna work, then we just gonna collapse, because the mailman came against you, right? This man had the entire United States government with unlimited resources against him, and they didn't stop him from doing anything he wanted to do. What does that tell you? He's the Jesus of today. But let me just bring this quote from James Baldwin, because I know you might not be ready for that yet, because we might still be stuck on white Jesus. Listen to what James Baldwin said. Elijah Muhammad has been able to do what generations of welfare workers and committees and resolutions and reports and housing projects and playgrounds have failed to do. To heal and redeem drunkards and junkies, to convert people who have come out of prison and keep them out. We're talking about the work of Jesus. We're talking about the Lamb of God taking away the sins of the world. Are y'all with me? Now, all praise is due to Allah. Let me prove it real quick. In physics, there's a formula, right, that says power equals work divided by time, right? Meaning the more power you have, the more work you can do in a shorter amount of time, right? If I have to walk from here to downtown, it's going to take me a while, right? Because my legs don't have that much what? Power, so it increases the time. If I run from here to downtown, I'll get there faster than walking, right? Because I'm exerting more power, which decreases the what? Time. If I get on a bike from here to downtown, right? I'm going to get there quicker than walking or running because the bike is more powerful and it what? Decreases the time. If I get on in a car and go to downtown, right? Then I'm going to get there in a shorter amount of time because the car is what? More powerful. Are y'all understanding? So if this man did what generations of others couldn't do, if he did what generations of white folks couldn't do, generations of what black folks couldn't do, then how much power did he have if he was only with us for 44 years and did what generations couldn't do? I just need you to think. I just want you to think about it. Let's go to the next slide. To make men chaste and women virtuous, and to invest both male and female with the pride and serenity that hang about them like an unfailing light. He had done all of these things which our Christian church spectacularly failed to do. How has Elijah managed it? Because he's backed by God and he's the Jesus of today. That's how he was able to do what the church that claims Jesus couldn't do. Let's keep it moving. Now, we're so blinded by the students of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that we can't even see the teacher. Are y'all with me? But a teacher is known for his students, right? What does that tell you? The son of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Imam Warith Deen Muhammad, he didn't agree with his father on everything, especially when he was younger. But when he got older, he agreed with his father on a lot of things. Because time causes us to see things that we couldn't see when we were younger. I know when I was younger, I gave my parents hell. I ain't even gonna tell y'all the stories, but I gave my parents a hard time. When I became older and had children, right? Then I had to call my parents and apologize for the hell that I gave them, because now experience caused me to see that they were right and I was wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. The same is true for Imam Warith Deen Muhammad. The Imam, when he took, after the Nation of Islam fell, and he took the brothers and sisters into what is called Orthodox Islam, right, which is an oxymoron, but we just use the term. You still today have a Muslim community in America, right, with millions of black people that are Muslims. The Arab world didn't accept Imam W.D. Muhammad. They didn't accept him. I'm sorry. They rejected him. And they rejected him because even though he didn't agree with his father, he learned so much from his father, right? That he couldn't accept everything that they were saying 100%. You understand? Okay. So you have a whole community of Muslims that follow Imam Muhammad, right? And love the most honorable Elijah Muhammad because they all came up in the nation. Are y'all following? They are our brothers and sisters in Islam. Are y'all with me? Okay. Can we go to the next slide? So now, I had to make sure that Clarence 13X was on the flyer. When the brother first made the flyer for me, he wasn't on there, right? Then I called him back. I said, brother, you got to put Clarence 13X on the flyer. Why? Clarence 13, I know what you're saying. If you in the nation, man, I thought that he left the mosque. He was in the mosque and he left. And then he took the lessons and just started teaching people. Just started teaching all these young people in New York. He did exactly that. He was in the mosque from 1960 to 1964, right? And when he left the mosque or the nation, the lessons that we keep as a secret, right? He went to young children and gave it to them freely. Why? See, you right now, you older ones, everything that we saying that you don't agree with, see, you got this filter that the white man put in your head to filter out everything of truth coming from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why we got to go so hard. Because if we don't go hard, then you'll reject it outright. You understand? But those children, guess what? They didn't have that filter. You can teach your children anything. There's a meme going on right now on Twitter. I'm going to tell my children that this is Michael Jackson, or I'm going to tell my children that this is so-and-so. Why? Because you can tell your children anything, and they will believe you. You told them that Santa Claus was real, and they believe that. Then they come here and find the truth and looking at you crazy, right? So now, if he gave them truth and they didn't have a filter, then they accepted it wholeheartedly. Are y'all following me? Now, we didn't live during this time, so we weren't there to know the ins and outs of what was going on, right? And at that time, it appeared like he was doing something wrong, right? But you know, Allah doesn't waste anything. Allah wastes nothing. Are y'all with me? When Clarence 13X left the mosque for 4 years, right? You went to college for 4 years and didn't get nothing from it. No legacy, no money, no job, 4 years, student loan debt. That's all you got. You understand? Muhammad, you putting college down? No, I'm not. Like Shaheed said, I got 2 degrees. But guess what? It means nothing when you compare it to the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Absolutely nothing. So now, hold on. So when Clarence 13X left and started teaching all of these children the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, he started a group, the Nation of Gods and Earth, or the 5% Nation of Islam. And all of the rappers, all of them, from New York for the most part, all of them were 5%ers. Are y'all listening? So when we were growing up, those of us who came in the nation, and we listened to Rakim, right? We listened to Nas, right? We listened to Jay-Z, right? All of these rappers from New York, they were all 5%ers. Brand Nubian, the whole Wu-Tang Clan. You mean ODB? Yes. His 5% name was A Son Unique. All of them. You mean Ghostface? Right. Poor Righteous Teachers. All of those rappers from New York that we grew up listening to, they were all 5%ers. And so what they got from Clarence 13X, they put it in the music, right? And then we who grew up blind, deaf, and dumb, right? We who grew up without the knowledge of self, we listened to the music, and then we got the lessons from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the music and then came in the nation. Only Allah could have done that. You understand what I'm saying? So the 5% nation, these are our brothers and sisters. We talking about Jay Electronica. We talking about Erykah Badu. We talking about Carmelo Anthony. All of them. They're Queen Latifah. They are brothers and sisters in Islam because it was their music that led us to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So how can you reject Clarence 13X when most of us wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him taking the teachings to our people in the street? Okay, let's keep it moving. Listen to what Rakim said. Tell me when y'all ready. Rakim is a 5%er, right? He's the greatest rapper, period, point blank, right? I know you might disagree, right? You might disagree, but you don't have a leg to stand on. I'm sorry, right? Let's just keep it moving because that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. In his book, Sweat the Technique, listen to this. Elijah Muhammad's example of personal sacrifice is rooted in the fact that he brought something profound, knowledge of self and Islam to black Americans at a time when ignorance and white racism were working overtime to keep the black race from moving forward. As founder of the Nation of Islam, Muhammad emerged and led this cultural awakening, influencing many people, including Nation of Islam minister Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan, as well as Clarence 13X Smith, founder of the 5% Nation. I wish somebody was listening. So Clarence 13X, guess what? That's our brother. Let's keep it moving. Now, another student of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the godfather of blackness, AKA Black Jesus, is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, his name was Cassius Clay, right? And Cassius Clay was in Miami, and he met a brother by the name of, at that time, Captain Sam, right? And this brother is the one that introduced, well, let me say, I can't say introduced, I can say that he is the one that Muhammad Ali came to the mosque and heard teach. Because Muhammad Ali's brother had already heard the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad before, and he was the one that introduced him to Muhammad Ali. But when Muhammad Ali came to the mosque, it was this brother by the name of Captain Sam that taught Muhammad Ali. Captain Sam is Abdul Rahman Muhammad. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So now, I gotta say this, and I apologize in advance because I'm gonna go a little over time, brothers and sisters. Abdul Rahman Muhammad, when you read the FBI files, everything that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did, the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover was working against him. When Minister Rahman was in Miami, they wanted to destroy the mosque in Miami because he was so successful. So what the FBI would do is they would write bogus letters acting like they're a believer in the mosque and then mail them to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and to get the minister of the mosque removed. Are y'all with me? It didn't work because not only was Minister Rahman successful, but he became the minister in Atlanta and became even more successful. You understand? The FBI was so treacherous that during this time in Dallas, there was no minister in Dallas. So there was a minister in Houston, right? So the minister from Houston would go to the Dallas mosque on some Sundays and teach, and then he would teach in Houston on some Sundays. Are y'all with me? So the FBI started a rumor in the Houston mosque that the minister had a girlfriend down in Dallas. And then they started a rumor in the Dallas mosque that he was taking the money from Dallas back to Houston. You understand? But guess what? Those mosques are still there. and they're still thriving under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Everything that the enemy did was a failure. Every article that was written about the Nation of Islam, starting in 1959, I got to read this quote. Can y'all bear with me, please? I am wrapping it up. I really am. Listen to what Brother Jabril said. Tell me when y'all ready. Back in 1959, this is in a book called This Is the One. Back in 1959, the white press, as if on signal, launched a furious attack on Messenger Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, following the dishonest portrayal of us entitled The Hate That Hate Produced. Through such publications as Time, U.S. News and World Report, Newsweek, The Reporter, Esquire, Confidential, True, and Saga, a host of other magazines and newspaper, white America spewed forth a flood of articles, both superficious and spurious and poisonous in nature. A few among them did a credible job as far as they went, but the bulk of what was written was insidious and rotten to the core. Listen to this. But it did not hurt us. Now, but Brother Jabril wrote this, but what he didn't know is that at that time, is that the FBI orchestrated everything. Every article that you read about the Nation of Islam goes to the FBI first. Either they write it, and then the newspaper man puts his name on it, or the newspaper man would write it, give it to the FBI, they say, no, add this, this, and this, take this out, and then they would publish it. So the whole public perception of the nation through the press was manufactured by the FBI. I wish somebody was listening. So you got Negroes quoting news articles to try to attack the nation, when in reality you quoting the FBI. I remember when we were getting ready for the Million Man March, and the white man in Chicago Tribune, I don't know if y'all remember, for 3 days they had articles back to back to back about the minister, right? Saying that he's taking money from the poor, saying all of these different things, right? And you know, the minister, he don't run from a fight, he runs to the fight. So he called us all out, right? He had a special meeting that night, and he just asked a question. He said, am I taking more money from the poor than the Chicago Tribune? And after he said that, everything was shut down. Because they're robbing the poor. You understand. Let's keep it moving. So now, Muhammad Ali came in the nation, changed his name, right? They wanted him to fight in Vietnam. He refused, became the greatest athlete in the history of the world, right? He has inspired thousands, millions, right? In the television show, The Godfather of Harlem, they have Muhammad Ali in there. It's just full of the students of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And there's a scene where Muhammad Ali is kidnapped by the mafia, and they tell him to throw the fight, right? Now, it didn't happen like that. Like I said, the TV show is complete fiction. But what happened in reality is the mob did come to Muhammad Ali, and they did tell him to throw the fight, right? And they said that he didn't throw the fight, they was going to shoot his kneecaps out. And Muhammad Ali went to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and said, dear holy apostle, they told me that if I don't throw this fight, they're going to shoot my kneecaps out. And he said, tell them that they got kneecaps too. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So now, I just got to show this picture real quick because everybody's talking about Colin Kaepernick. Some of y'all want him to be a slave for the NFL. Can we go to that? But he said that he was inspired by who? He said that he was inspired by Muhammad Ali. What am I showing you? I'm showing you that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the godfather of blackness in America and the world. All praise is due to Allah. When you see these athletes, listen carefully. When you see these athletes getting these $1 million contracts, the only reason that they're getting them is because of Muhammad Ali. Because Muhammad Ali, with the help of the FOI, so the mob couldn't come and take over the fights. So then Muhammad Ali was able to get that money. When Jim Brown was in the NFL, Jim Brown was making $50,000 a year in the NFL. They wasn't paying those athletes nothing. But then when Muhammad Ali started to get paid millions, guess what? He opened the door for all the other black athletes to get what? To get paid millions. So all of these athletes that get these $1 million contracts, they're benefiting from the sacrifice and the struggle of Muhammad Ali, who is a student of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let's keep it moving. Now, Malcolm X. Malcolm X, we know the story, right? Malcolm X is a student of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, anytime you have the enemy always tries to misconstrue the relationship between the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X. Are y'all with me? They never show the father-son relationship that these two men had, right? When Malcolm was in prison, there was nobody named Brother Baines that came and told him about Islam. Brother Baines is fiction in the Spike Lee movie. That's right. Malcolm X's entire family joined the Nation of Islam. Reginald was the youngest and the closest in age to Malcolm, so the family sent Reginald to tell Malcolm about the Nation of Islam. Not only did they send Reginald to tell Malcolm, but they also asked the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, would you write a letter to him while he's in prison? So Reginald goes to Malcolm in prison and says, look, I can get you out of here if you stop eating pork and you stop smoking cigarettes. Well, you know, Malcolm's a hustler. So he think like it's a scheme, like he was going to get sick and they was going to let him go. So he stops smoking and he stops eating pork. Reginald keeps coming to prison to give him the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm is so inspired because now he has the teachings from the Lamb of God that washes away the sins of the world, right? And Malcolm starts to read everything in the prison library. You understand? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad writes him a letter. And in the letter, he gives him $5. Now, this is in the 1940s. If you send $5 to somebody in jail right now, they're going to be thanking you. Most of us, we don't go see our family that's in prison. We just go on the website. Oh, yeah, he there. I see him. There you go. Right? So now, not only did he write him, but he sent him money. Are y'all with me? When Malcolm X, the day Malcolm X came out of prison, you know, they give you some clothes to wear, right? The day he got out, he came to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's house. Imam Warfdeen Muhammad said that he still smelled like prison when he was at the house. Are y'all with me? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't reject him because he had gone to jail. He took Malcolm and made him into a world leader with the knowledge that he gave him. Now, you know that you can't be the leader of nothing in America as an ex-convict. You can't even drive Uber. Come on, man. You can't even deliver white folks food in Uber if you got a record. You understand what I'm saying? You mean I can't pick up fries from McDonald's and drop them off at your house? No. You understand? So you're not going to become the leader of nothing, right? Because in this world, they hold that against you. Try to become the leader of the NAACP, and you were ex-con, you was a pimp, you was a hustler, you was a gangbanger, right? You think they're going to make you the leader? Absolutely not. Try to become the leader of the SCLC. Try to become the leader of the Urban League. You understand? Try to become the leader, just try to become the pastor. Try to get over the usher board. Are y'all with me? Try to be the leader of the block club. As soon as they find out you got a record, what's going to happen? But this man was an ex-convict, but the Lamb of God washed away the sins of the world and made him a world leader. You understand what I'm saying? So now, they say that, well, brother, see, what you ain't saying is Elijah Muhammad got jealous of Malcolm because Malcolm was so successful. Now, I have children. Some of you have children, right? And if your child becomes successful, are you going to be angry? No, you angry because they a bum right now in your basement. That's what makes you angry. Not that you successful and a world leader. No, hell no, you in the basement, you making too much damn noise. You need to get out of my house. You're a bum. I'm angry. I'm not angry if you out there making money. I'm not angry if you out there handling your business. I'm not angry if you come from my house with what I gave you and you become a world leader. No, I'm a proud father. You understand? So I got to wrap it up, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was not angry or jealous of Malcolm. That's a lie that white people tell because they always want to make it seem like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is some underhanded man, some man that's scheming on black people. When this man lifted up not just the people that we see. You listen to James Brown. When he said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. That's Elijah Muhammad. When you see Sister Sonia Sanchez, she was Sonia 5X. When you see Etta James, she was in the Nation. When you see the Delphonics said that they wanted to make a song that everybody would be singing about Allah. And they made that song. La, 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 la means. Y'all know I don't listen to R&B. You know the song, right? That's the they wanted to slip it in on black folks. You understand what I'm saying? You can't escape the influence of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You like the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers learned from Malcolm. When the Black Panthers wrote their 10-point program, they got a Muhammad Speaks, turned it to the back page, copied what was on Muhammad Speaks, and made it their own. Minister Abdul said he was there when they did it. So what are we talking about? You listen to Jeremiah Wright, right? Jeremiah Wright was a student of a man named James Cone. James Cone is the founder of what's called black theology. He used to debate Malcolm X and lose. So then he started a whole black theology. And one of his primary students was Jeremiah Wright, who was the pastor of Barack Obama. You can't escape the influence of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praise is due to Allah. Okay, brothers and sisters, I gotta go. But now I can't go without saying this. I'm gonna do this one real quick. I'm sorry, brothers. Y'all please forgive me, I'm done. Brothers and sisters, can we put up the slide with Alex Haley? Alex Haley is the one that wrote the autobiography of Malcolm X real quick, but that wasn't his greatest success. When he came to get permission to write the autobiography of Malcolm X, it was really supposed to be an autobiography of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Did y'all know that? Now you know. The FBI sent Alex Haley to the home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Alex Haley was working for the FBI. I know I'm hurting somebody's feelings, but truth is truth. And his intention in writing the autobiography of Malcolm X was to get all of this information, then write this negative book about Malcolm and so-called expose the nation. Are y'all following me? It didn't end up like that, because when I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, that's what caused me to come in the Nation of Islam. So it didn't end up like the FBI wanted. All their plans against Muhammad failed. So now, when Alex Haley heard this, that black people who came to America were Muslims, he was like, man, that ain't true. And then he went and researched it. And when he researched it, guess what he found out? That his family was in fact Muslims when they were brought over, his foreparents. Are y'all with me? And he wrote a book called Roots, and that book became his greatest success. The book was turned into a movie and is one of the greatest television movies of all time. And all he got was just a fraction, just a little fraction of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But he took that and expounded on it. Are y'all with me? So now we got to wrap it up. I'm done. Of all of these students of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, there's one that stands out. The one that stands out was the best student in the ministry class of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Listen to what the scientists say. The scientists say that everything in nature reproduces after its own kind. So if the most honorable Elijah Muhammad if we say that he fulfills what the scripture says about Jesus, right? And we share that with you, some of it, right? And then we know that everything in nature reproduces after its own kind. Are y'all with me? Then if he makes his man in his own image and after his own likeness, then the man that he makes will be just like him. Are y'all following me? So when you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is an extension of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the greatest defender of black people in the last 40 years, it's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's just a fact. That's a fact. I'm sorry. Brothers and sisters, every enemy that has come against the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, all of them have failed to destroy this man. Every media personality that brought the Honorable Louis Farrakhan on his show, and they interviewed him and they tried to grill him with questions. What happened? He destroyed every last one of them. These media personalities are the greatest minds that white folks got. So they put him on television, and they put him on television to weigh people that they put on TV. So they put the Honorable Louis Farrakhan on there, and he destroyed every last one of them. So they go and get other black leaders to use against him. I gotta say this. I know y'all mad. I'm done. This is it. Every black leader that has come against the minister, he's defended them all, even though they've attacked him. I remember when the minister, this is back in the day, we were at Midway Airport, and he just got off the plane. And there was a politician named Mel Reynolds who said all manner of evil about the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Well, Mel Reynolds got locked up. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I was a lieutenant at the time, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gets off the plane. Brother Melvin hands him the phone. It's Mel Reynolds' mother on the phone. The minister is talking to her. Now, I don't know it's Mel Reynolds' mother at the time. I'm just on post, right? We drive from Midway to it might have been O'Hare. I'm thinking now it was O'Hare. We drive from O'Hare to the federal penitentiary downtown, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan went to go visit Mel Reynolds while he was in prison. Now, this man spoke all manner of evil against the minister when he was a politician for the sake of white folks. You understand? Now, when I found out, I'm talking about me, this brother Abdul, when I found out that he was visiting Mel Reynolds, I was like, man, I can't tell y'all what I was saying. I just wasn't spiritually developed enough at that time to appreciate the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his divine mercy. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to end with this. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the godfather of blackness because our consciousness was raised by him. The ones who he taught has influenced all black people, has influenced the entire world. I didn't get a chance to put Cesar Chavez in the PowerPoint. I didn't get a chance to, but he's influenced so many people with what he taught. Are y'all with me? Yes, sir. So, but his greatest student is the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. When you're the man that stands in the position of the messenger of God and you just have to tell the truth, that's a position that earns you a lot of hate. Everybody can't take that hate. They can't take the weight of being the person to tell the truth and hated by the masses for telling the truth. It takes a special person, you understand. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is that person. So brothers and sisters, I have to apologize for going over the time, but I just wanted to make the point with the students of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that all of us love, but we have to focus on the teacher of each one of them, and that's the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, I want to leave you as I came before you with the greeting words of peace. We say in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, how many of you all are visiting us for your first, second, or third time? Can I see by a show of hands? All praise is due to Allah. How many of you who are visiting us, how many of you believe what you heard today to be the truth and good for black people? May I see by a show of hands? All praise is due to Allah. My last question is this. How many of you would like to join the Nation of Islam under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? May I see by a show of hands? All praise is due to Allah. Those of you who want to learn more about the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, here's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to come down the center aisle. I want to shake your hand on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. All praises.
All praise is due to Allah, brothers and sisters. At this time, make your way down the center aisle and shake the hand of our brother here, Student Minister Abdul Muhammad. He is extending his hand on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as we welcome you home to the Nation of Islam. All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, don't wrestle with yourself. Don't talk yourself out of it. This is your place. This is where you are intended to be at this time. Come down the center aisle and join on to your Nation of Islam. Look at all these beautiful black men, brothers and sisters. This is a beautiful sight on a Sunday for us to be uniting as family and becoming one and starting that process and that journey to become a better version of ourselves. Praise be to Allah. Brothers and sisters, did we learn something today? Did we get more insight and perspective about the power of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his influence over everything that we see today? Praise be to Allah. Just a few more, brothers and sisters. All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, let us thank each and every person that took that leap of faith today. And let's give it up one more time for our brother here, Student Minister Abdul Muhammad. He did a beautiful job. All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, we are near the end of our program. We ask that at this time the Ministry of Finance comes down the center aisle. In Islam, we have a principle called charity. In Arabic, we call it zakat, brothers and sisters, and we ask that whatever you can give or spare out of what Allah has blessed you to have, that you give it at this time as the receptacles come around. There are some scriptures in the Holy Quran and in both the Bible as well that talks about charity and how we should be giving in the cause of Allah or in the cause of righteousness, 10% of whatever Allah has blessed us to give. So we first of all thank you all for giving just the energy of your time, but on top of your time, if you have anything additional that you can spare, please pass that around at this time. If you are watching via webcast, there should be a link on your screen that says donate now. You can click that, fill out your credit card or debit card information, and you can contribute to our charity as well for those who are viewing our national webcast. As the receptacles are going around, brothers and sisters, we have a few announcements. We first of all want to encourage everyone to come out to some of our weekly meetings throughout the week. No matter if you're in Chicago or if you're in a different city, find your local mosque or study group that is near you. And every Monday afternoon at 7:30 p.m., we have our men's class. We encourage every brother, no matter if you call yourself a Muslim or not, every single brother to come out and just hang out with your brothers in the Nation of Islam on Monday nights. We have a class that's a lot less formal. We go over some information. We share brotherhood. And then we answer whatever questions you may have about the Nation of Islam and how we can become better individuals as men and overall influence our communities and change for the better. For our sisters, your class is on Saturdays at 9 a.m. We encourage you all to come out and learn what it is to be a righteous woman of God, what are your duties, responsibilities, roles, etc. So that is for you as well on Saturdays at 9 a.m. And then we have a special announcement from our regional captain, Brother Dwayne Muhammad. He said that tomorrow is a very important special FOI class. He wants all FOI to come out. It's mandatory. And we are expecting to hear from our Supreme Captain, Brother Mustafa Farrakhan, as he addresses the entire nation. We'll be doing a national webcast. So every brother, if you can adjust your schedule, if you got to work or something, we understand. But if you can adjust your schedule and be present on tomorrow night, would be greatly appreciated. And then last but not least, on Wednesdays and Fridays at 7:30 p.m., we have our weekly meetings. On Wednesday, we have our lecture next door at Muhammad University of Islam. And on Fridays, we have our study course, which is Self-Improvement, the Basis of Community Development. Brothers and sisters, we also, as the receptacles continue to go around, we want to remind you that Savior's Day is fast approaching. So February may seem like it's far off, but it's right around the corner. And this year, our Savior's Day has already been announced. We will be in Detroit, Michigan. You can go to noi.org/SD, stands for Savior's Day, SD 2020. You can find out the registration information, the hotel venue, where it will be held, and you can also get your tickets as well. So we encourage you to log on and check out those details when you have time and start setting aside some money so we can make that transition and go ahead and travel to Detroit and be graced by the grace of Allah to see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan again to address us as expected on Savior's Day, okay? Last but not least, we have a few local announcements. If everyone that is here in Chicago can just maintain your spots for about 2 minutes after we close out in prayer. We're going to cut off the webcast, and then we have a few local announcements, okay? All right, please stand for prayer. Attention prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we worship, and thine aid do we seek. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, and not the path of those whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray. Ameen. Thank you for all of those who are tuning into the webcast. Assalamu alaikum. And brothers and sisters,
are you tired of corporate-controlled media? Then it's time to subscribe to a new way of gaining access to independent and timely news coverage. Introducing the Final Call Digital Edition. The Final Call Digital Edition is on the cutting edge of print news delivery. The Final Call Digital Edition carries in-depth reporting and thought-provoking analysis of both national and international news. Get out of the old and get into the new. Subscribe to Final Call Digital Edition at digital.finalcall.com.